Hey guys, welcome to an Anime Vice Roundtable. I'm Anna, this is Dave, this is Mark, and today we are going to talk about live-action anime adaptations. There's been a bunch in the news that are either going to be made well, out here in the West, or ones that have been made in the East, I guess.
Yeah.
And a few terrible ones that have been made in America.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about this show is like talking about the American ones they're going to make and if they can be good and how they can adapt them and what we've learned about what they've done in Japan and Hong Kong also. You know, first off, I think we just got to get out of the way Ghost in the Shell, right?
Yes.
Right.
That's the big one everyone's looking at. They go like, you know, can they pull it off? We have Scarlett Johansson, they know is going to star in it. You know, they already got Rupert Sanders to direct, who did Snow White and the Huntsman, which when we watched that, you know, there was a whole thing with the evil queen.
Yeah, and like the ravens or the crows or whatever, and it's like, oh my god, it's like Itachi.
Yeah, from Naruto, exactly.
And it constantly references Mononoke.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so the fact is that they got the right director for it. You know, they have someone that visually can really make anime come to life in a way I think that we'd all be happy to see. I think the biggest problem that people have been having with it is the whole idea of whitewashing of it.
Right.
I have one main thing to say about that, especially in terms of Scarlett Johansson. The character is a cyborg.
Right.
You know, it's addressed, I know in Standalone Complex, she's asked, you know, why didn't you choose like a male body, or why did you choose this body? And it's like, that's the point. You can choose whatever body you want. You don't, you know, if you were born in
tethered
Japan,
down by race.
Yeah, you don't have to choose a Japanese cyborg body, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the end, it's just to appeal to American audiences. You know, it's the cross demographics of, oh, well, the anime fans also like comic books, she's Black Widow, and there you go.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's funny because I think that Lucy is the reason this is happening.
Probably.
I think, you know, Lucy made a ton of money based on its budget, and I feel like, you know, they know that she's the right person to lead an action franchise.
Right.
And also, you know, if you watch Under the Skin, it's basically like a rehearsal for Ghost in the Shell, because she plays a character very much like Kusanagi. And, you know, I was watching Ghost in the Shell not too long ago, and like even little things like, she's got like bright blue eyes. You know, even stuff like that. You're like, she doesn't come off like super Japanese at all. So for me, I think she's a really good choice.
I think in the end, though, it is straight up whitewashing. I mean, you can't get away from the fact that you're taking Japanese characters, her name is Katsunagi, and making it a white person.
Right. I guess the real question though is
she's commander.
But I mean, I guess the real question is
a major, yes. Sorry.
Does the location, does that really play a hugely important part?
Ghost in the Shell, no.
That can't be.
In Ghost in the Shell, it's Newport City. We have no idea where that is.
Right.
And then in the movie, we don't even. It doesn't even have a name. It's not even Newport City.
Exactly. So I mean, when you think about the live-action Attack on Titan movie that just came out in Japan and that will actually be coming out very soon here in America, I mean, that's something where they changed races of characters that actually does matter in terms of the story. You know, for those of you who are familiar with the manga and anime of Attack on Titan, the fact is that there are no more Asian people. The only one left is Mikasa, and she's only half Asian.
Yeah.
You know, and so
she's like special. There was a whole thing about how she was special because she was rare.
Exactly. And so why is that okay? You know, why is it that people don't even really discuss that? And maybe people
it's not
do,
okay.
but yeah.
You know, that's the thing. It's still, you're taking a story that deals with race.
Yeah.
You know, it deals with it, and especially for a Japanese audience, that's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not just blanket making all your characters Japanese or something like that.
Also, like, you know, I understand on the logistical level, you know, it's like how many random white people that speak fluent Japanese do they really have in their pool? Yeah, in their acting pool there. So, you know, logistically I get it, but at the same time, you know, that's something where race really matters, whereas I think in Ghost in the Shell, especially when your main character is a cyborg, I think it matters less.
Yeah. It's the easy one because it doesn't deal with location or race or anything. It's meant to be a universal story.
Yeah.
But then, so you get an easy pass on that one. You're like, okay, it's Ghost in the Shell, but then you step into anything else and you're going to instantly start running into issues.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a problem. That's been a problem with some of the adaptations we've seen, is that identity of like where they are. Because you're right, like for instance, like Dragon Ball Evolution, a lot of problems there. It wasn't just that, but you know, the fact is that they tried to kind of Americanize it. Like I think it was in America. I don't know if they ever really said it, but it wasn't in a sort of fantasy world that the anime and manga are. They, you know, also on top of that, you know, Goku was like Peter Parker. Like he was worried about talking to girls. You know,
he was in high school.
Yeah, he was in high school. He should have been, you know, patting the genitals of everyone he met to see their boy or girl. They didn't do that. Come on.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, in a way, you could say they sort of mixed up the childhood of Goku with the childhood of Gohan.
Yeah.
Where, you know, because he did go to high school, he did have to dealing with girls, but they changed so much about who Goku is that it ruined it. It really ruined it for so many of us.
But I think on the other hand, then you get the Speed Racer thing where it was so much like the anime that I think it scared everyone off because they didn't get it.
Yeah, they didn't know how to market it. They didn't know how to deal with the fact that it looked so crazy and was so bright and so fast moving and there was a monkey.
And there's a monkey, exactly. Yeah, like it was so like bizarre. You know, though, I think let's kind of think about movies in Japan that they've made in Japan. Like, for instance, I think that one of the good ones that we've seen was Gantz.
Yes.
I thought Gantz was a pretty good, you know, version. I mean, obviously the manga and anime are far more violent than the actual live-action adaptation, but I thought they did a pretty decent job of aesthetically sort of showcasing this.
Yeah, they gave you the right idea of what it was, and they told a really interesting story with the right basis. Even if it didn't really quite follow the story of the manga, you know, it had enough aspects from it that it really left you feeling good about the movie.
Yeah. Now, Mark, have you seen any that of like from Japan or Hong Kong that you thought were like decent?
I mean, the closest one I can think to being like a decent adaptation was actually Cromartie High.
Okay.
Like the live-action Cromartie High, but the Cromartie is such a bizarre thing anyway. And then the changes that they made going into the live action were as equally bizarre.
Right.
So you have things like, you know, one of the characters in the anime is Freddie Mercury, you know, and so when they get to live action, it's a Japanese man playing the character, and it's not Freddie Mercury, but he still acts like Freddie Mercury. So it's this added layer of bizarreness to it. But one thing I did like is they kind of gave the main character this weird Keanu feel to him.
Now I think,
and the other one is like Death Note. I liked it, but at the same time, it didn't
was all
do it.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it was okay.
Making your characters older, I think, hurt the story.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's an issue with any live action.
That's true.
Adaptation, you know,
Very
it's
true.
like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan
sure.
screwed that up a lot. I think they really, really messed it up by having the characters be as much older as they are than the characters in the manga.
Well, Ender's Game too. You know, they aged him way up.
I think the one time they did it, and I know this isn't officially right because it's based on a Japanese novel, but like Edge of Tomorrow, based on You Just Kill, you know, they made Tom Cruise's character obviously much older, but I think that they were able to construct enough around it to sort of make it okay.
Well, they took base parts of the premise and they used that to make their movie rather than doing a direct adaptation, which I think was smart. I think it was a good way to go about it. And the fact is, if anyone ever wanted to retell the actual story of the light novel, or I suppose the manga that is based on the light novel, then they could do that in the future, and it wouldn't feel like it was interfering with Edge of Tomorrow. It could still even be in that same world.
Yeah.
So I think part of the thing is like, what is it going to take to make one of these movies like really, really work well? Because I'm not sure it really has yet. Though I haven't seen Rurouni Kenshin. I hear that's a good one. But in America, I don't think it's happened yet. Ghost of Shell might happen.
Yeah.
Akira movie, I don't think it's ever going to happen, frankly.
I think at this point it's just a shell property to get other things funded.
Exactly.
I still hope that they're actually going to do the Death Note movie that they've been announcing forever. I mean,
Shane Black was supposed to do years ago.
Before he did Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
You know, he had gotten the rights and was going to do Death Note as an American version. I still want that to happen.
Now, there was a crazy article 2 weeks ago on Variety that Naruto was going to be made by Lionsgate.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was both the most exciting and scary news I'd heard in a while, because it's, you know, though
from the studio that brought you Expendables.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, in their defense, you know, they did Hunger Games, right? And they've done, they did Divergent and all those.
Yeah.
So they've done some YA stuff well, and I think certainly something like Naruto that's, you know, is shonen and starts off as a kid mag. You know, that could translate well, and I know sometimes I, you know, mispronounce things, but it's truly one of my favorite anime. I think the problem I have is I've always wanted to see this, but I feel like if you're gonna do it, you need to do it like Harry Potter. You need to like cast young kids and like literally have like 7 movies to fill out all the really epic moments, because there's a lot of epic moments. But the thing is, like, are they gonna put that money into doing this? And are they going to have the balls to make it in this sort of pseudo-ancient Japan with these ninjas, or are they going to try to, like, you know, put it in, in Miami or something, you know?
I mean, I think the thing that can give us a little bit of hope is that things like Hunger Games, you know, they really have had respect for the material.
Yeah.
I think respect is the key, and if they're going to have, if they're going to do this material, they need to actually respect the material and respect the audience that they're going to try and you know, steal money from. You know, hopefully not steal money, you know, because that's what I think. Do you not feel like paying to see Dragon Ball Evolution was like being stolen from? I felt like it was.
I felt like a little piece of my soul was stolen, frankly. Like it hurt.
Yeah.
It really hurt bad, that one. You know, I think it's worth mentioning though, there are a few things that have been adapted really well from manga or from Japanese novels. You know, obviously on the novel side, Battle Royale, an amazing movie, and they later had a manga. Also, Old Boy. I believe Old Boy is also based on a manga too, and so, you know, it can be done.
Yeah.
It's just like whether or not, I think frankly, it's whether or not you have the balls to go all in.
Yeah.
You know, and not worry that this is too weird for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that the reason that comic book movies are in part doing so well is because Marvel has their material, and they clearly have respect for their own material, and so they give you the kind of things that you want to see, that even if they sort of change stories up a little bit, they still understand their characters at their core.
And if these movies don't work, we can all go to Japan and see the stage shows.
True.
I mean, they got a Slam Dunk one, a Naruto one. I mean, they do a lot of those. They had a Death Note one.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But guys, we just want to thank you guys for all the comments and contributing to all of the videos that we've put up so far. We obviously are going to be trying to put out more content as we keep going along, but we want to know more of what you want to see. We've been doing the things you didn't know, getting a lot of good response from those. If you want to see specific anime for us to do things you didn't know about, let us know. If there's any of the other things, we work with our friends over at Cinefix, so if there's any kind of shows that they do that you'd like to see us sort of adapt for the anime world, let us know. I think that about wraps it up. Don't you
I think
guys?
that's good. And guys, you know, let us know, is there a manga or an anime that you really want to see adapted into a live action movie, and maybe an American live action movie? Or do you think that's a bad idea? Let us know in the comments down below.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us in this roundtable. If you want to contribute and be one of the Vicers, we've got a wiki, we've got message boards, and you can always comment here on the YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anna, Dave, Mark. Thanks, guys.